We're going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner. I got to go bold, right? I got to go bold for this.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube. And always rate that show 5 stars everywhere that you get your podcast. And welcome back to another super show for the Unbearable Sports Podcast. Because today, over the last week, I had some difficulties. I had a food poisoning, so it was just glorious. So sorry that I haven't been able to post an episode as regularly as we do. So today, super show time. So for those listening, I don't know about you guys, I always like the longer form content for those shows that are out there. So we're talking about HBO. We're talking about DJ Moore's contract, where you can see what's going on with it, and we'll discuss why that means they might end up picking up a free agent. Also recap some of the camp that we had. Also, starters are going to be playing. There is a lot for us to be going through. Main thing, the previews. Also, Skokes out there. What is good, my friend? Hope you have been doing well. So let's get started. So I'm curious out there, how many people watched HBO, the Hard Knock stuff? How many people got HBO? Because that's what I did. I had to get HBO. So any good shows, any good movies that I should be watching, I have The Wire on my list. That's one of them that I'm like, I got to see The Wire. I've always heard amazing things. So The Wire is one of those things that I'm going to be watching now that I have to get HBO to watch the Bears. Also, I have Band of Brothers. So those are my two, I got to do those. But I don't know if anyone else has any other suggestions, but there's a lot of good stuff out there. So I've already seen Game of Thrones, which was great until the final episode, or final season, but still, HBO, gotta get the juice out of that. So let's talk a little bit about Hard Knocks, because first off, I liked it. I thought it was enjoyable. I watched it with my wife. We really liked it. It was a fun time. But also what I liked is just the peek behind the curtain to see how the Bears are interacting, and also what Eberflus is doing. It's nice to see him with Nick Saban and them talking about the Bears and the team. And it's nice, obviously, to see Benedette, for those that didn't see him, just sing, what is it? I'm proud to be an American with the Eagle Speedo. Just absolutely super awesome. I just was cracking up the whole time. But yeah, I just thought that it was fun. It was nice to just see the peek behind the curtain with the Chicago Bears. And yeah, I don't think that there was really anything crazy, but I can't wait till Tuesday. I'm going to try and get a reaction one out after we watch it. But like I said, I was out of commission this week with food poisoning, so hopefully next week we'll be able to do that. Also, Keith, bear down. What is good, my friend? Hope you've been doing well, man. But yeah, so let's HBO. Didn't want to talk too much about it just because I know so many people have already done HBO recaps, and there's so much out there. But HBO, I like it. It's fun to watch. But let's talk about the DJ Moore contract, because I don't hear many people talk about this. DJ Moore's details have come out on his contract, and we've talked about this on the show, where, one of the benefits of getting this contract done early is to just kind of spread the money out. So we were saying, what if they had the $16 million for the next 2 years that they had before? What if they spread his deal out a little bit more across this contract? The Bears said, no. We have a different idea that we had. And this is why it's so noteworthy. In year one, the Bears reduced his cap number down from $16 million to $7.2, freeing it up an additional $9 million. So now the Bears have over $20 million in cap space. As you can probably understand from that, it's a very interesting move by the Chicago Bears going this close to the start of the season and during this preseason, because this is also when Yannick Ngakoue and signed with the Bears, and also there's still rumors out there that the Bears are in talks with Yannick Ngakoue and having discussions with them. I think it was Albert Breer that reported that earlier this week. And that's the thing that I'm kind of looking out for is this a move to then sign someone and bring somebody in? That's what it appears to be. But also, it doesn't mean just because you have the space that you should just go out and sign somebody. Because also keep in mind rollover cap. So for those that like a lot of people don't know about this whole rollover cap idea. If the Bears have $20 million, as the name entails, they then roll over that amount too, because then it's open salary cap. So it could also be a good move to say, hey, let's open up this cap and then we get it next year. Do I think the Bears are doing that? I don't necessarily think so, because you also talk about the turmoil that's happening at the interior of this offensive line, and also what's going on with, hey, it might be nice to at least bring in an additional pass rusher. That's where, to me, look for the Bears to maybe potentially sign somebody over the next week or so. Just definitely keep an eye out for it, because they have the cap space. They opened it up. I did see some people being like, does this mean big trade? Does this mean Jonathan Allen? I don't think that. I think that's wishful thinking. I think that's kind of going a little overboard. It'd be cool. They could do it, but I don't think that they will. Also, Danny's saying, if you got Cinemax with it, watch Banshee. Oh, I got to write that down. Thank you for the suggestion. I've heard of Banshee. So yeah, I've been meaning to just I want to just watch some shows, watch some good movies as well, just because I haven't seen a lot of movies out there. So with HBO, I mean, you might as well. So yeah, I got it as part of the Disney Plus bundle because kids love Disney. So we have that and have Hulu as well. So we did it with the whole bundle and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for the suggestion. Also, just another little bit about the DJ Moore contract, 24.9 million the next season, and then it goes 28.5, 28.5, 28.5, and then in his final season, age 32, it's 24.5. The other thing that I just want to bring up as well, for those that are seeing and actually watching the show, you can see this, that basically the Bears have an out of his contract after he turns 29, which that's another awesome thing that the Bears have in this contract, is that, hey, DJ Moore gets no guarantees. I mean, his guarantees are officially out in his final season, but still, you could, let's say something bad happens, right? DJ Moore loves eating out and eating, he doesn't take care of himself as much as Montez Sweat. Not my words, his words, right? He talks about that he doesn't really do as many off-season trainings as some of the others. So yeah, let's say, God forbid, something bad happens. You do have an out in 2026. So good stuff. Nicholas, what is good? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Bear down to you as well, because guess what? We got Bears football and starters tomorrow, man. I'm pumped. I am definitely pumped for that. But before we get into the starters and before we break that stuff down, let's recap training camp a little bit, because lots of stuff was happening. And the big moral of the story with training camp this last week, you could kind of copy and paste the same storylines every single day. Offensive line has been getting more banged up with the tackles and with the guards. Darnell Wright was out for a while. Nate Davis just doing Nate Davis types of stuff. And the defense doing really well. Defense dominating out there. And one person in particular who might be on my starters to watch, Gervon Dexter, still is making headlines and still is causing havoc in the Bears backfield. So you better believe I'm looking out for Big Dex out there tomorrow to see what he's going to be up for. But yeah, training camp as a whole, that's kind of what's going on. Also, Bayless getting some snaps at running back. We'll talk about that as we preview. That is something that's also very interesting with Velus Jones. Also, Roma Dunze being talked more about as a punt returner as well to his responsibilities as a wide receiver. And really, that's kind of just what happened. There's 3 different training camps out there, but that's really ultimately what ended up happening. Also, next week, the Bears will have, I believe it's the Bengals practicing with them. So that's going to be fun to watch. I'll actually be there on Tuesday, so I'll have a bunch of notes for us to go through on that Tuesday show. But let's go through some of the starters, because that's really what camp was all about. But let's talk about the starters, because first off, we got a brand new depth chart that the Bears released to the public. Yet again, these are unofficial depth charts, so take a grain of salt with this. But the reason why these are important is because these depth charts, this is also when they brought people out, and they really did respect this whole depth chart that they published. So also, people listening and watching, go down into the description of the episode. I have a link that you'll be able to see this entire picture, so you can save it on your phone. Truth be told, I had it on my phone because it was really nice to see, okay, here's the people to watch, Here's where they're at. And then I have them highlighted. You also have all the numbers too. Very, very, very nice that we have out here. But the starters will play. And overall, with the depth chart changes, I didn't really see anything different. Like, to be honest with you, nothing really jumped out at me. But let's talk about the starters that will play, because I agree with Nicholas. I'm hoping that the starters will play for more than one drive. And honestly, I think that it should be an entire quarter. Because let me know what you think. How much do you think that they should play the starters? Also, Sports Chicago style. What is good, my friend? I hope you are doing well. Bear down, my friend. Bear down. But also, so let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think? How long would you play this team? Because I know my answer. I think that Caleb needs as many snaps as possible. He needs those live bullets flying. He needs to know what it's like to be in an NFL game. Yeah, it's preseason. But see what happens when the live bullets are flying, because he needs that. I've said this before. We're probably not competing for a Super Bowl. If we are, Caleb Williams is amazing. It's about preparing Caleb. It's about getting him ready. So to me, give him an entire quarter. Give him the ability, even if it's just like a scaled down version of the offense, he needs the experience to be out there and calling the plays, having those snap cadences, having someone that is going to try and take his head off across from him, seeing how the ball gets snapped. That is something that I'm really excited to see. And I, for one, think that the Bears should play him for at least the first quarter. And next week, they should do the same exact thing. And then the week after that, I know sometimes people treat that as like, okay, you have all the backups play. I would have Caleb almost play a half. I want to see more Caleb Williams, just selfishly, but also because I think it's the right thing to do. Because what if we won? What if we won recently? We need to see this offense too. From what I've heard during camp, they need the reps. What everyone's saying, this offense needs reps. This offense needs practice. What better way to do that than give them an entire quarter? Give them a bunch of snaps out there. So let's talk about the starters and who I am very excited to see, besides everybody. Also, Nicholas agrees, 1 quarter. Yeah, I feel like that's about the right thing. So let's talk about the starters that I'm looking at. So I tried to whittle this down to just 7, but let's start with the offense. From the offensive starters, obviously Caleb Williams. And does this mean I want him to just throw it deep and throw all these crazy passes? No. I'm not expecting him to pick apart defenses like crazy. All that I want to see is that, does it look fluid? Does it look good? Does it feel good, right? Just keep practicing that, and that's what this is really about. It's not about throwing for 200 yards. It's not about going off on the defense. It's about taking it easy, taking it slow. So that's something that I really want to watch Caleb Williams and how this offense just kind of works together as a unit. But the next thing that I want to see, because speaking of Sports Chicago style, what he just said, just stay healthy. This offensive line is the next thing that I want to watch with this starters. Yet again, so we always break this down, when to watch some people so that you can enjoy the preseason as much as you can. This is really in that first quarter. Look for Ryan Bates and Coleman Shelton. So number 71 and 65 on that offensive line. Because chances are Nate Davis isn't going to be out there because, it's Nate Davis. So Coleman Shelton, number 65 at center. I also think that this could be the starting offensive line week 1. Coleman Shelton has, people that watch him snap. It's a significant difference at as quick as he snaps it back to Caleb compared to Ryan Bates. You want to make sure that your quarterback understands speed and the timing. So with Coleman Shelton getting it back quick, that is actually something very, very important. So Coleman Shelton is going to be at center, and actually Ryan Bates, look for him at guard. And this could be your starting unit week 1, like I mentioned. So that's what I'm really looking out for, is how does this look? Is Ryan Bates everything that Ryan Poles really wanted? Or did he really want him at center, but we just can't see it? Or are we going to see Ryan Bates play a couple snaps at center? So look to see where number 71 is. I think ultimately, when Caleb's out there, you're going to see this unit out there with him. And because I'm just assuming Nate Davis is not going to be out there. Also, if Darnell Wright does not play, who goes in for him? Is it Larry Borum? We might see Larry Borum, number 75, and Jake Curhan kind of swap out some snaps. So then the last person to watch on this offense, or that I have on my list, is number 15, Rome Odunze. Because, come on, we gotta watch Rome Odunze. I want to see him out there. I want to see how he plays with the starters because Keenan Allen's not going to be playing. Keenan Allen hasn't played a game in, 3-4 years in the preseason? So my guess is he's not going to be out there. So you're going to see Rome be out there, and maybe even DJ Moore might not even be out there. Talking about 2 number ones, probably not going to play them. Or do you play them because of having Caleb Williams out there? So that's why I forgot. I had one more person that I highlighted, Gerald Everett. Because I could see them rolling out Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett with Rome Odunze. Gerald Everett, number 14. How does he look in this offense? Because rumors out of camp, hey, he's looking good. He's making some snaps. He's making some plays. He's actually making more headlines than Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet, we already know who he is. He's the gatekeeper of the top 10 tight ends. Like he is the mark where if you're better than Cole Kmet, you're easily a top 10 tight end. If you're not a top 10 tight end. Like he's right there. He's the borderline. He's the gatekeeper of the top 10 tight end class, right? Like that's where he's at. He's just a really, really, really good tight end. So Gerald Everett, number 14, is someone I'm going to be looking at. But now, let's flip over to this defense. And even though that the starters are going to be out there, because there's going to be some injuries, Kyler Gordon might not play. You have to look at that. There's 2 people I'm looking for, right? Montez Sweat, we already know what Montez is going to do. He might not be out there just because, we can't get Montez injured. I'm looking at Gervon Dexter. We are all looking at Gervon Dexter because that's who we want to see. That's who everybody wants to see. What does he look like? Hey, give him a drive. And Gervon, if he's balling out there, then yeah, you can pull him. Even though that he's going into his second year, all accounts are saying that this guy looks really good. And that's a vital position in the side of this defense. Gervon Dexter, number 1 person I'm watching. Next, number 95, I'm looking at DeMarcus Walker. Because DeMarcus Walker was someone that we didn't really see much of. And he was banged up. Also, I forgot to mention this about HBO. You kind of see what type of a player DeMarcus Walker is. You see him in the front of the room, heckling people when they're doing the rookie meetings. You see what type of a leader that guy is. And he's a talker. So to me, I want to see him do well. I want to see him do great. DeMarcus Walker is someone that I'm looking at because he should be healthy. Last year was banged up. So what does he have in the tank? But let me know what you guys have. What starters are you excited to see in the first quarter? Because I'm just excited to see like the Bears playing and just to see what this actually looks like. So now, let's talk about some of the backups to watch because these backups, right? When do you see them? When will you start to see them? Hopefully we see them start to pop in the second quarter. You might see some of these people start popping in the first, but really in that second quarter, maybe a little bit in the third. I could see with the Bears having that rain delay or, having the game get canceled last week. I could see them probably taking maybe the backups only play in the second quarter. And then they have the backups play in that, or the backups play in that second half because, hey, Austin Reed, you didn't really get a lot of those snaps. So let's not give you those. Let's give you all those snaps in the second half. So that's definitely something to look out for. But backups. Let's talk about the offense again, where I already mentioned these 2, but Larry Borum, Jake Curhan, the tackles. Because if Darnell Wright or Braxton Jones is not out there, tackle is a very, very vital position. And that is something that is very, very difficult to replace. And if Darnell Wright is banged up or nicked up, you need one of these players to come in. So what does Larry Borum look like? Because it would be really nice to trade away Larry Borum because of his $3 million cap hit. Yeah, he's making $3 million because of his performance and just how he's been. So Larry Borum could be a really enticing trade piece. I've seen some people kind of say, what about the New Orleans Saints? So does that mean that you can get rid of him if Curhan looks good? Because last week, Curhan did not look good. I was not a fan of what I was seeing out there, even though he is a veteran. So to me, that is something to look out for with the backup the backups that we'll see out there, as well as Tyson Bagent. Like we said, only had like a drive last game. So now what does he look like this game? Can he kind of answer back? And this week, supposedly been having a very good week of practice too. So that's what you want to see. And after you saw what Brett Rippon was able to do, that is definitely something that someone you need to be looking at. So who are you guys watching out for the backups on offense? Because my next is Velus Jones. Velus Jones sounds like he's going to play a little bit of running back. Sounds like he's going to play a little bit of wide receiver. Sounds like he's going to be returning. And I know that it's a common thing that us Bears fans say, like, Velus is going to get cut. I still don't buy it. I don't think that he's going to be cut. I think that him playing running back is more of utilizing him in different positions in different spots to see what he's capable of. So Velus to me is definitely intriguing. Where are they playing him? We said this. I've said this since day one, since they drafted him. Reminds me of Cordero Patterson, the off-brand version of Cordero. So now you should use him like Cordero Patterson, where I like him as running back. I like him as this running back, wide receiver, this weapon that he was never a wide receiver. And I think that was the reason why I was down on it when we drafted him, because we needed a wide receiver, not just a weapon. So Velus is definitely someone that I'm going to be looking out for on this offense. Let me know from a backup, right, that would probably play in the second quarter. Who are you looking out for? So Sports Chicago Style saying Hicks, yes, on the defense. I may or may not have him selected on mine. But then Nick saying I'm especially looking out for Javon, Rome, both centers, Caleb, yes. And then Nicholas saying backups looking for Velus and Booker. So that's a perfect segue. Let's get into this defense. Who are you looking for on the defense? You know, Sports Chicago Style saying Hicks and Nicholas saying Booker. Both of those are on my list because Elijah Hicks, he's looking good. And people saying too in camp, like, hey, he's looking good. Does that mean he's starting? No. It just means that he's looking good as a backup. And last game, we saw him make some very good tackles, very good plays that we didn't really see Elijah Hicks make last year. He wasn't a big tackler, and he made some very good tackles. Let's see how he follows up, because Jonathan Owens is really the true backup. But then you still have Tarvarius Moore, and you still have Adrian Colbert. So you have good depth at this safety position. So Hicks really does need to prove himself like, hey, I'm still developing. I'm still looking good. Keep me on this team. But then also from a backups, Austin Booker, like we said, looked very good. His PFF grade was also good on that pass rushing. It's just Booker constantly fighting. Number 94 just to watch on the defensive line. Same thing with Zach Pickens. I'm still watching him. Number 96. Didn't look like he was doing anything out there. I might even just stop watching him because I'm almost sad when I see him because I'm like, oh, man, I wish you did something. I wish you did more. I want to see this growth out of you, Pickens. Come on, man. But still, Byron Cowart, number 93, did look good last week. So Pickens is still one that I'm watching out for. Next is Jacob Martin. Is he going to play? Because if he's not, then I'm looking at Dominique Robinson. So Jacob Martin, number 55, he's someone that people are saying, hey, he looks good when he's out there. So Martin, to me, he's someone that, hey, if he's playing, someone to at least keep an eye out for, because if we are going to add someone, if we do add someone, it's probably going to be, it's probably going to be Dominique Robinson's job that ultimately ends up going. But yeah, Hicks, those are just the main people I'm looking out for. Corners, you kind of know that they're going to be playing well. So that the backups, also very hard to watch. So to me, those are the backups that I'm watching. So now, let's get into the second half studs, as we call them, because I agree with Skokes out there. Let's actually start with this defensive side, because what I'm looking out for is, first off, I'm looking out for you guys because YouTube keeps on sending ads, and I just keep on seeing pop-ups that YouTube's giving y'all ads, so sorry about that. So I just skipped another ad for y'all. Make sure to like out there. But Reddy Stewart, that's someone that Skokes has, and that's someone that I have as well, number 46, because we didn't see much of him. But when we did see him, he made a pop of a tackle. And also, I'm still looking out for Leon Jones, number 37. Played well at the outside corner position. So someone definitely to look out for. But on the inside, I highlighted 3. So Jamry Chroma, number 59 as the defensive end. We saw very minimal snaps. And to be honest with you, it reminded me of Bell, the guy that we drafted last year, Travis Bell, where you see the athleticism. But when I was watching the tape, you go, but you're not playing well on that position. Like, you're a very good athlete. But football players, something different. So now can we see more snaps of him? Because all these players that we're talking about, these are the people in fourth quarter, in third quarter to be watching out for. So Chroma is definitely one that I'm looking out for. And Keith Randolph Jr., 67, defensive tackle, could be a practice squad guy. Didn't see much of him last game, but someone definitely to watch out for. And this guy might technically be considered a backup that plays in the second quarter. But Noah Sewell, remember him? Noah Sewell, number 44. I've heard, too, from people that Sewell has not looked good. That he's not getting good snaps. He's just not, like, he's really just kind of been a non-factor, which is kind of crazy to say. So now, what does he look like? Hopefully he gets snaps. Because he was supposed to be this phenomenal player. Remember, 2 years ago, he was supposed to go in the first round, but then ultimately didn't. Had a poor season. People had questions about how he would look playing in coverage. But we saw what Amen looked like last week in coverage. It was terrible. And I think that this backup linebacker position is really kind of open. Because even though that Carl Jones Jr., number 50, made some pretty good plays, it wasn't consistent. There was a lack of consistency. That's why he's also a third stringer. So Carl Jones is also someone to look out for, number 50. Just the linebackers. Who stands out at that position? Let's flip over to the offense. Back over to the offense for the people that are playing in the second half. And fingers crossed, I'm hoping we get to see number 33, Ian Wheeler, back there at running back. That's who I want to see. I want to see the speed. I want to see him in an NFL offense, yes, against other third and fourth stringers, but I want to see him out there. I want to see this guy. And then also Colin Johnson, definitely, it's not even just from the offensive side. I want to see him on special teams. I want to look for number 80 and say, where is he at? Because that's the person that, in order for him to make the team, think about who he has to beat out. Because you have Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, and DJ Moore. They also talked about this on HBO. Right, Tyler Scott's going to make the team. So those are 4 people you can, just say they're going to be on the team. So now you have DeAndre Carter, Dante Pettis, Colin Johnson, Velus Jones, and Simba Webster. Well, I don't think Simba Webster's going to make it, and I don't think Dante Pettis, even though that he's kind of like, okay, well, if he's going to make it, like he's just been a solid veteran. So to me, that's where Colin Johnson, you have to prove that you can play special teams and be a special teams contributor. Not return kicks or return punts, but be a special teams contributor. So Colin Johnson, I'm looking for him. And 87, Brendan Bates, the undrafted rookie, I'm looking at him. We saw a good chunk of him. Looked pretty good out there. And then on the offensive line, I'm looking for Jerome Carvin, number C3, who might also play in the second quarter as the backup center. Because this also goes into Doug Kramer. I could have even highlighted him, number 68. Because that 68-63 competition for the backup center spot, I think this is legit. Doug Kramer has not been this person that turns heads. So Kramer versus Carvin, I think, is a legitimate position battle at that backup center, especially because of the health of Nate Davis. If Nate Davis was perfectly healthy, then you wouldn't really have this big debate. Because you'd have, okay, Coleman Shelton's either going to be the backup or Bates is going to be the backup. But now it's looking, okay, if Bates has to be right guard and Shelton has to be center, then that means we need Carvin or Kramer to back up that center position. So, because do you really want to shift Bates into the center position? Probably not. So that's something that I'm looking out for. And then also number 60, Bill Murray, just because the Bears really liked him going out there. That is something that I like. And then my last person to watch, DeAndre Carter, number 30. Because, yet again, you are a punt return guy. Punt return, kick return guy. We know that he's good at that. But what does he look like as a wide receiver? Because that's when, if they're going to keep, let's just assume, 6 wide receivers, who looks like the wide receiver? Like sports, Chicago style says, can't coach 6'6", right? You can't coach Colin's size. And also, I like Colin Johnson because he's similar to Rome Odunze, possession receiver. I like having backups similar to the people that you have on the team. And when I see a DeAndre Carter and a Velus Jones, are they really wide receivers? Are they more return people? So that's why I really hope Colin does look good. And Nicholas saying too, if Colin Johnson has a good game, I think he makes the team. Yeah, I hope he does. He gives you more upside than any of these other players. And that's where too, Velus, you got to be trustworthy. And I think that's why they're also trying to out at different positions too. So that's my list. Let me know what y'all think down below. Who else did I miss? Obviously, if Tory Taylor's out there, the punter, definitely go after, definitely watch him. But also too, see if number 43 Cameron Lyons is snapping the football, because that's something to watch too, because Patrick Scales has been out with an injury. So definitely need to watch for that. But other than that, I'm looking through just to see if there's anybody, but running backs, Roshan, Khalil Herbert, when they're out there, you already know to watch. So that's someone to look out for. Freddie Swain, 86. I mean, we were just talking wide receivers. Freddie Swain and Tyson Bagent supposedly have been throwing the ball very well together. So look for number 86 now. Maybe 86 is going to be a little, maybe he's going to be the person we're talking about rather than Colin Johnson. But we'll see. We will see. But Nicholas saying too, do you know why Tory Taylor wasn't punting in the Hall of Fame game? I really don't. I know some people out there were speculating like because he kicks such a different ball, people don't want it to be on tape. But he had college tape. Like that's my whole thing. It's like he had college tape. So I don't know why. I really don't know why. Unless their whole thing is, hey, we already know that we have Taylor. We already know, like, he's already getting reps. So let's just show people what Waitman has. Maybe they're doing good by Waitman to just say, all right, you do you. You show them what you got. So if they don't play him again, then yeah, then maybe there is something weird, something up that they don't want to have out there. But like I said, the way that I saw it was I could see them just wanting to give Waitman a shot to make a team because, hey, we brought in this guy. He's going to be our punter. You already see what he's able to do. You're not going to have a job. So let's just do right by you and show you what we can do. So if no one signs him, we can put you on the practice squad. Or if, God forbid, the crocodile punter goes down, then you can bring in Waitman. So that's kind of what I think about that whole piece. But let me know what you think. So down below, like and subscribe out there. If you're watching right now, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe. And also, if you're watching, drop a comment. You can just comment, bear down. It helps the channel tremendously. Also, if you haven't already, you can download this podcast everywhere that you get your podcast. Listen to it on the go. Just look for Unbearable Sports everywhere that you get your podcast. But also, another thing too, click the link down below in the description. If you're watching out there on YouTube, it links you straight out to the podcast. Danny also saying, let me know what you think about Banshee. I will have that down. So thank you all so much. And also, if anyone else has any suggestions what to watch on HBO, let me know down below. And with that, Bear starters play tomorrow. Bear down. Unbearable Sports Podcast. We are out.
Yeah, she's got some nice long hair and you know